Hey, welcome back. Yesterday I was listening to this podcast that puts this really interesting idea. You know that how everyone's talking about AI and how this is increasing everyone's productivity. Potentially in the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to replace a lot of the work that we're doing today. So the follow-up question to that is, what are we going to do when we have so much of that free time as a result of AI liberating us from day-to-day grunt work? So the question I think is super interesting because it prompted the thought of what are we going to do? Potentially, it could be that we have so much free time that it enables us to think of more work that we can't even think about today. Maybe we can engage in more creative pursuits. Get back into painting, creating songs, creating movies, things like that. Right, creative pursuits. The other side of that is we could be more of the, which I think maybe is even more likely to happen, is we're gonna really get into the consumer phase of enjoying entertainment. Right, I think that's very likely to happen because when AI gets so good, where it's able to replace a lot of the work that we do, it's able to recommend content that are so interesting to us, or it's able to take up work that we've done in the past and apply a creative spin to it to make it even more interesting. Like, for example, if you enjoy watching The Office, right? Is it likely in 5 years' time that we can have an AI that's able to take in a video or a series that's really popular and then figure out the facial motion, the audio, the plot, the twist, and then generate its own version of The Office, right? And then the characters look exactly the same. You have the same voice, same facial expression. I feel like that's likely. And if we have that scenario, then people are probably gonna sit around and just watch movies all day, listen to music all day. And would that be a reversion to 10 years, 20 years ago, maybe, of people just sitting around watching movies at home, or maybe, there's the other thing that was really interesting. The podcast mentioned about nostalgia, right? Some people are cashing in on this nostalgia because a lot of people enjoyed playing Counter-Strikes when they were 12, 13 years old. Play Pokemon. It was like my case, right? My childhood, I played a lot of Pokemon. And you do see this coming up again where people are getting into Pokemon cards because they can feel the attachment, right? They can feel the attachment there. And people, I feel like at the bottom, in the depths of their minds, right? They want to feel that sense of connection to a time when it was fun, it was exciting. And for a lot of people, that happened around the age of maybe 9, 10 to 14, right? So if I ask you right now, in your childhood, what was the most exciting thing, or what are the things that really brings up the most fond memories for you? It's very likely it's going to come from that period from between 10 to 14, 15. And so that's the business opportunity that they were talking about. And I thought it was really interesting because it does make sense, right? If you want to create, say, like a coffee shop that's Pokemon themed, right, where people can come together to talk about like the earliest versions of Pokemon, the game. And I recently downloaded the iOS recently announced that you can build emulators, or you can install emulators on your phone. So I recently downloaded the emulator for Game Boy Advance on my iPhone, and I've been playing that. I was playing Pokemon Red, Fire Red, and that took up a lot of my free time. And I don't have a lot of free time just because of work, family, working on things like that. But even then, whenever I had like 1 hour or 30 minutes, I would turn on my phone and I would go into this game mode and try to play Pokemon again. It gives me a sense of my childhood that I really enjoyed. And maybe there's something that could really have legs here. Finding an area where it gives you nostalgia, and trying to build a community around that. It could be a coffee shop. It could just be a space for people to sit around and talk about it. It could be a organized weekly Pokemon game, like one of those Game Boy Advances in the past where you can connect the device with other players and you can play them. And what's his name? Palmer Luckey, the CEO of, I don't remember, it's like a defense company. He used to be the CEO of Oculus before they sold it to Meta. And recently he released a pixel perfect Game Boy, I believe that's what it's called, and that sold out, right? So he was kind of taking something that a lot of people really enjoyed, refurbished it, added, make a high resolution display to it, and then resold that. And also on my YouTube feed, I've been getting a lot of iPod Classic. Have you seen one of those, like the white iPod Classics, from maybe 10, 20 years ago, where people would carry them around everywhere. It had, 100 gigabytes of storage or 20 gigabytes of storage, and then you would get all your cracked music and then download them to the iPod, and then you can carry them everywhere. That iPod Classic, it's making a comeback right now because a lot of people are picking them up for cheap, $20-$30 probably. And they can replace the parts on there, replace the screen. You can add it, you can mod it with Bluetooth, and then you can add USB-C to it, so you can charge using like your USB-C cable. And just looking at the tutorials, it doesn't seem to be very, very difficult. That's definitely a trend too. So what I'm really going on around here is that it seems like there's an opportunity. I'm very curious to see if there are any startups or businesses that are revolving around this area, where you're thinking about combining nostalgia, combining games, not just games, right? But it could be movies, could be any type of, what else? Music. It's just like things that brings a group of people together. And we see that there's a lot of card games making a strong comeback. A lot of people are playing card games. I think that generally there is something here. I'm very curious to see if there are interesting companies that are in this space right now. Yeah. Cool. So that's it really from me, and just kind of random thought. I'm genuinely very curious about startups. And yeah, I'll share more of my thoughts here. Just random thought for the day. Cool. All right. See you tomorrow.